Emma Morrison never imagined that a simple like on a photo of a Canadian landscape could change her life forever. At 32, an English teacher in a small town in the interior of São Paulo, she had given up on finding love after 2 failed relationships that left her emotionally exhausted and financially shaken. Her routine was predictable: school, home, the gym on Saturdays, and occasional dinners with her best friend, Claire Fontaine, a graphic designer who had moved from Quebec to Brazil years ago. Ironically, it was Claire who encouraged Emma to sign up for the international dating app. "You need to broaden your horizons, Emma," she said, as she helped create the profile. "The men here don't deserve you. How about trying to meet someone from outside? Canadians are kind, polite, and look, I'm living proof that it works." Emma gave in more out of boredom than real hope. She posted smiling photos, described her hobbies, reading, hiking, yoga, and her profession. Within 2 weeks, dozens of matches appeared. Most were disposable, empty conversations, men clearly just looking for a fling, some even married men trying to hide their wedding rings in poorly edited photos. But then Connor McLeod appeared, the perfect man, or almost. His first message was different. It wasn't the typical generic, "Hi, how are you?" Connor had read her profile carefully and commented on a book she mentioned loving. "Margaret Atwood is one of Canada's greatest writers. If you like her, you need to check out Alice Munro too. I have a copy here that I'd love to send you if you'll let me." Emma was intrigued. She checked his profile thoroughly. Connor McLeod, 38, civil engineer, resident of Vancouver, British Columbia. The photos showed a tall man with slightly graying brown hair at the temples and a warm, genuine smile. There were pictures of him on trails in the Rocky Mountains, others at social events, some with a golden retriever named Benson. He seemed real, authentic. He didn't have that manufactured air that so many online profiles exuded. "He seems too perfect," Emma commented to Claire over lunch, showing her the photos on her cell phone. Claire analyzed them carefully. "Well, he's Canadian, lives in Vancouver, has a stable job. Emma, not all men online are scammers. Sometimes you do find good people. But take it slow, okay? Get to know him gradually." The conversations between Emma and Connor quickly intensified. He was attentive, asked questions about her life, remembered small details she mentioned casually. When Emma mentioned that she was stressed out with problems at work, Connor sent a 5-minute voice message offering practical advice and words of encouragement. When she mentioned that she loved mountains but had never seen real snow, he sent videos of himself hiking the trails near Whistler, promising, "One day, I'll take you to see it all in person." After 3 weeks, they made their first video call. Emma nervously got ready, changing her clothes 3 times before settling on a light blue blouse that Claire said made her eyes pop. When the call connected and Connor's face appeared on the screen, her heart raced. He was even more handsome in person, or at least in person through the camera. The conversation flowed naturally. He joked about her accent. She laughed at the way he pronounced Portuguese words he was trying to learn to impress her. "You're exactly as I imagined," Connor said at the end of the call, his blue eyes fixed on the camera in a way that made Emma feel butterflies in her stomach. Even more beautiful, actually. Ignored red flags. The next 2 months were an emotional roller coaster. Connor and Emma talked daily, text messages throughout the day, video calls at night, considering the 5-hour time difference between São Paulo and Vancouver. He seemed genuinely interested in building something serious. He talked about their future with a certainty that was both exciting and slightly scary. "I'm tired of being alone, Emma," he confessed one night, his voice soft over the phone. "I've had relationships before, but nothing that really meant anything. When I met you, it's different. You're different." Emma melted at these words. Finally, someone who saw her, who valued her. But there were strange moments that she, at the time, chose to ignore. Once Emma casually mentioned that a co-worker had invited the faculty to happy hour. Connor was visibly uncomfortable. "Men at happy hour?" he asked, trying to sound casual but failing. "Are you going?" "Connor, they're my co-workers," Emma replied, slightly irritated. "Of course I'm going. It's part of professional life." He quickly apologized. "You're right, I'm sorry. It's hard to be so far away and imagine you surrounded by other men. I know it's silly of me, but I feel jealous. It's because I care so much about you." Emma accepted his explanation. After all, it was flattering to have someone care so much, wasn't it? Again, Claire noticed something strange. "Emma, why doesn't he ever call you from other places? All the calls are always from the same room, with that same beige wall behind him. Doesn't a civil engineer travel to construction sites? Doesn't he have an office?" "He works from home a lot," Emma defended. "It's common in his field. Projects, blueprints, calculations. Everything is online these days." Claire didn't seem convinced, but she let it go. The biggest red flag came when Emma suggested that maybe she could visit him in Canada during her July vacation. Connor visibly hesitated. "It would be amazing, but July isn't a good time. I have a huge project that will take up all my time. It would be awful to have you here and not be able to give you the attention you deserve." Emma felt a pang of disappointment, but he quickly made up for it. "How about September? In the fall, the colors of the trees in the mountains are breathtaking, and I'll be more free then. I can take a few days off, show you Vancouver, Whistler, maybe even Victoria. It'll be perfect." "September," Emma calculated mentally. "That would be during the school semester. I'd have to take unpaid leave." "Emma," his voice became serious, almost intense. "If we're serious about a future together, at some point you're going to have to make that decision. I'm not asking you to drop everything, but can't you invest a few days in us, to see if what we feel from a distance is real when we're together?" He was right. How could they build something real without ever seeing each other in person? "Okay," Emma agreed, feeling a mixture of excitement and nervousness. "September it is. I'll make it happen." His smile was radiant. "You won't regret it, love. I promise." The unexpected proposal. In August, 3 weeks before their planned trip, Connor made an unexpected video call. It wasn't their usual time. He seemed agitated, nervous. "Emma, I need to tell you something." Her heart sank. Was this the end? A terrible revelation. Was he married? Connor took a deep breath. "I love you. I know it's early. I know we haven't even met in person yet. But I can't pretend or hide it anymore. I'm completely in love with you. And I know you feel the same way." Emma felt her eyes well up. "Connor, Let me finish," he interrupted gently. "I've been thinking a lot. About us, about the distance, about the future. Emma, I don't want you to be just a girlfriend I see once a year when vacation allows. I want to wake up next to you every day. I want to build a life with you." He paused dramatically and then picked up a small blue box. "Emma Morrison, I know this is crazy. I know we're doing everything out of order, but when you know, you know. Will you marry me?" Emma was in shock. Marriage already. But at the same time, why not? She was 32 years old and had wasted enough time on relationships that went nowhere. Connor was stable, mature, and knew what he wanted, and she was in love. Connor, this is so fast." "I know, love. You don't have to answer now. When you come in September, bring your answer. But I wanted you to know my intentions. I want you to come not only to visit me, but to see your future home, if you accept. To see if you can imagine yourself living here, building a life with me." Emma could hardly sleep that night. Claire was concerned when she told her. "Emma, a marriage proposal before you've even met in person? That's extremely fast. Are you sure about this guy?" "Claire, I know it sounds crazy, but sometimes you just know. You know, he's different. It's serious. We've already talked about values, about family, about the future. It's not just physical attraction. But it's also about paperwork, Emma, Claire warned gently. There are a lot of scams out there with people using marriage to get visas, money, citizenship. He's Canadian, Claire. He doesn't need Brazilian citizenship, and financially he's much better off than I am. He's an engineer. He owns his own house in Vancouver. You know how expensive real estate is there. It doesn't make sense for it to be a scam, Claire sighed. Just promise me you'll be careful, okay? And text me every day when you're there. If anything strange happens, come back at the first chance you get. The journey into the unknown. September arrived quickly. Emma used her savings to buy the ticket. Connor offered to pay, but she preferred to maintain some financial independence. She asked for 10 days of unpaid leave from school, inventing a family emergency, so she wouldn't have to explain the real reason. Only Claire knew the whole story. At Guarulhos Airport, while waiting to board, Emma received a message from Connor. "I can't wait to see you in person, my love. I have everything planned. It will be perfect. I love you." She smiled, but there was something in her stomach, not just butterflies of excitement, but also a chill of apprehension that she couldn't quite explain. During the flight, Emma chatted with the passenger next to her, a Canadian lady returning from vacation in Brazil. "First time in Vancouver?" the lady asked kindly. "Yes, I'm going to visit someone." "Oh, how lovely. Family?" "My fiancé," Emma replied, still finding the word strange. "How wonderful. Vancouver is an amazing city, but dangerous too, like any big city. You need to be careful, especially as a visitor. There are a lot of opportunistic people out there." Emma thanked her for the advice, but internally dismissed it. Connor wasn't a take-advantage-of-people kind of guy. He was different. She was sure of it, wasn't she? The flight took over 15 hours with a connection in Toronto. When the plane finally landed at Vancouver International Airport, Emma was exhausted but excited. She went through immigration. The officer asked her several questions about the purpose of her trip, how long she would be staying, where she would be staying. She explained that she was visiting her fiancé, showed him her hotel reservation. Connor had suggested she stay in a hotel for the first few days, so as not to appear inappropriate to immigration authorities. She found his thoughtfulness charming. She went out to the arrivals area, looking for Connor in the crowd, and then she saw him. He was real. He was there in the flesh, holding a bouquet of yellow tulips. She had mentioned months ago that they were her favorite flowers, he remembered. Tall as in the photos, warm smile, bright blue eyes. "Emma," he said, and his voice was the same as in the hundreds of calls, but different in person, deeper, more present. They embraced. He smelled of expensive cologne and something else that was harder to identify. Security, danger. Emma didn't know. "You came," he whispered in her ear. "You really came." "Of course I came," she replied, stepping back slightly to look him in the eyes. "I love you, Connor." "I love you too, my love. Now come, I have so much to show you." They left the airport hand in hand. Connor carried her suitcase to the parking lot. The car was a large, imposing black SUV. He gallantly opened the door for her. As they drove through the city, tall buildings, mountains in the background, a glimpse of the ocean, Emma felt like she was in a dream. She was really there, in Vancouver, with Connor. "I thought we could go straight to the hotel so you can rest," Connor said, keeping his eyes on the road. "Or, if you're not too tired, we could take a tour of the city first. It's up to you." "The hotel is fine," Emma replied, yawning. "I can barely keep my eyes open." "Perfect. Tomorrow we can start the real sightseeing. I have everything planned." But when they arrived at the hotel, Connor didn't stop at the entrance. He drove right past it. "Connor? Wasn't the hotel there?" "Change of plans," he said casually. "I cancelled the hotel. I thought it was silly for you to spend money on lodging when I have a huge house. You're staying with me. I won't take no for an answer." Emma felt that chill in her stomach again. "Connor, I thought we agreed it would be better for me to stay at the hotel for the first few days." "Emma, we're engaged, or at least I hope we will be after this week," he smiled. But there was something about the smile that wasn't exactly warm. "Don't be old-fashioned. Besides, my house is on the North Shore, near the mountains. You'll love it. It's much prettier than downtown." She didn't know what to say. Technically, he was right. They were adults. They were planning to get married. Why would it be a problem to stay at his house? But a little voice inside her, which sounded suspiciously like Claire, whispered, "First lie. He changed the plans without consulting you. You don't even know the exact address of where you're going." Emma grabbed her phone and quickly sent a message to Claire. "I arrived safely. Connor is here. Everything is great. Small change. I'm staying at his place instead of the hotel. I'll send you the address when I get there." Connor noticed. "Texting who?" "Claire. I told her I'm fine." "Oh." An awkward silence. "Are you going to spend the whole trip texting other people, or are you going to pay attention to me?" He laughed after saying that as if it were a joke, but it didn't seem like a joke. Emma put her phone away. They kept driving and driving. They left the urban area of Vancouver, taking increasingly narrow roads surrounded by dense trees. With every mile, Emma felt further away from civilization. "How much longer?" she asked, trying to hide the nervousness in her voice. "About 40 minutes. My house is up high, kind of isolated. But the view makes up for it. You'll see." Isolated. The word echoed in her mind. Emma looked out the window at the approaching mountains, covered with dark trees against the sky that was beginning to darken. And for the first time since she had decided to take this trip, Emma Morrison wondered if she had made a terrible mistake. Connor's house was exactly as he had described it, isolated, modern, with huge windows overlooking the mountains. But what he hadn't mentioned was how isolated it really was. The property was at the end of a dirt road, surrounded by miles of dense forest. The nearest house was at least a 15-minute drive away. "It's beautiful," Emma said, trying to sound enthusiastic as she got out of the car. The truth was that the silence of the place made her uncomfortable. There was no traffic noise, no neighbors, nothing, just the wind in the trees and the occasional birdsong. "Wait until you see the inside," Connor smiled, picking up her suitcase. "I made sure to get everything ready for your arrival." The interior was impressive. Minimalist decor, expensive furniture, a chef's kitchen. But Emma noticed something strange. There were no personal photos. None. Not of family, friends, not even of Benson the dog who appeared so often in his profile photos. "Where's Benson?" she asked. Connor paused slightly. "Oh, he's at my parents' house for a few days. I thought it would be better, so we could have some privacy on your first visit." It made sense, but there was something about his answer that sounded rehearsed. "Come on, let me show you your room," he said, climbing the stairs. "My room? I thought—" "Emma, I'm not going to pressure you," Connor interrupted gently. "I know we're just getting to know each other now. We have time. I've prepared the guest room for you. When you're ready, my door is open." She felt relieved and even a little guilty for having been suspicious. He was being respectful. The room was beautiful. King-size bed, private bathroom, another huge window overlooking the mountains. But when Emma tried to open the window to let in some air, she realized it was locked. "Connor, the window won't open." He appeared at the door. "Oh, right. All the windows have safety locks. Bears, you know. I've had trouble with one trying to get in once. It's just a precaution." Bears. Of course. That made sense in Canada. First 48 hours. On the first morning, Emma woke up disoriented. Jet lag hit her hard. It was 5 a.m. when she checked her cell phone and noticed she had no signal. She went downstairs and found Connor already awake, making coffee. "Good morning, sleepyhead," he joked. "Coffee? Connor, my cell phone isn't getting any signal here. Yeah, the Brazilian carrier doesn't work well in this area, but don't worry, you can use my Wi-Fi. The password is on the fridge." Emma connected to the Wi-Fi, and immediately several messages from Claire arrived. "Emma, answer me. Where's the address?" "I'm worried, friend. Confirm that everything is okay." "Emma!" she replied quickly. "Sorry, no cell phone signal here. I'm fine. The house is beautiful but very isolated. Connor is being perfect. I'll send you my location in a minute." When she tried to share her location, the GPS wasn't working properly. The connection was strange. "Problem with the Wi-Fi?" Connor asked, suddenly appearing behind her. Emma almost dropped her phone. "God, you scared me. Yeah, it's kinda slow. The internet here isn't the best. It's a mountain, limited infrastructure. But it's fine for the basics." The first 2 days were pleasant on the surface. Connor cooked elaborate meals, showed her around the property, told stories about the region. But little things started to bother Emma. He always knew when she was on her phone. He always appeared coincidentally when she was typing. When she suggested they go downtown Vancouver for a walk, he had excuses. "Today's not a good day, terrible traffic," or "Leave it for tomorrow, I want you to rest today." And then there were the questions. Constant questions. "Who are you talking to? What are you doing? Why are you so quiet?" On the third night during dinner, Connor brought out champagne. "A toast," he said, pouring the glasses. "To us, and to our future." Emma toasted, but noticed he didn't drink from his own glass. "Aren't you going to drink?" "I can't. I started antibiotics this morning. Throat infection. But you enjoy it." She took a few sips. The champagne tasted slightly bitter, but she attributed it to the expensive brand she wasn't used to. "Emma, I need to ask you something," Connor said, becoming serious. "Have you thought about my proposal? About marriage?" She was still processing everything, the isolated house, his behavior, the small strange signs. "Connor, I'm still getting to know you in person. It's only been 3 days. His face darkened for a second, but he quickly forced a smile. "Of course, you're right. Sorry for pushing. It's just that I'm so happy you're here." Emma began to feel dizzy. "I think jet lag is still affecting me. Can I go to bed?" "Of course, love. Get some rest. I have a surprise for you tomorrow." The surprise, Emma slept heavily, too heavily. When she woke up, it was already 11 a.m., and her head was throbbing. She picked up her phone and saw a message from Connor. "I left breakfast in the kitchen. I'm at the office working. When you wake up, come downstairs because I need to talk to you." She stumbled downstairs. Connor was sitting at the living room table with a laptop open and several papers scattered around. "Good morning or good afternoon," he smiled. "Did you sleep well?" "I slept too much. That's not normal for me. It's the mountain air. It makes you relax. Sit here. I need to show you something." He turned the laptop toward her. On the screen were photos of a mountain trail, breathtaking landscapes, crystal-clear lakes, snow-capped peaks. "Remember, I promised to take you to see the real mountains. I've organized a special trail for us. 2 days and 1 night camping. We're going tomorrow." Emma felt a tightness in her chest. "Connor, I've never camped in my life. I don't have any equipment. I don't know if... I've taken care of everything. Tent, sleeping bags, food. It's going to be amazing. It's a private trail that my friend who works at the park gave me access to. We'll be completely alone, far away from everything. Just me, you, and nature." Completely alone, far away from everything. The little warning voice in Emma's head was now screaming, "Let me tell Claire first." "Emma," his voice turned cold, "did you come here to stay on your phone talking to Claire, or did you come to be with me?" "Connor, I just want to let her know where I'll be." "You'll be with me. Isn't that enough?" He took a deep breath, clearly controlling himself. "I'm sorry, it's just, I feel like you're not really here. You're always on your phone, always distracted. This trail is important to me. I wanted it to be special, just the two of us." Emma didn't know what to say. Was he right? Was she being paranoid? "Okay," she finally agreed. "Let's go." His smile returned. "Perfect. We'll leave tomorrow at dawn. It'll be unforgettable, I promise." That night, Emma tried to text Claire, but the Wi-Fi was unstable. By the time she finally got a connection, it was late and she was too exhausted. She lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, listening to the oppressive silence of the forest outside. Somewhere in the distance, an animal howled. Emma wondered for the second time if she had made a terrible mistake, and tomorrow she would be even more isolated. In the mountains, alone with Connor, no signal, no witnesses, no way out. At 5:30 a.m., Connor woke Emma up. "Time to go. The earlier we start, the more we can enjoy the day." She barely had time to eat breakfast. Connor had already loaded the car with huge backpacks, camping equipment, and a cooler with food. Emma realized he had brought provisions for much more than 2 days. "Connor, is all this necessary?" "Safety, honey. Mountains are unpredictable. It's always better to be over-prepared than under-prepared." During the 40-minute drive to the trailhead, Emma tried to memorize the route. Left here, right there, that sign. But everything looked the same. Trees, more trees, dirt roads that branched off with no apparent logic. Finally, Connor stopped the car in a small, empty parking lot. There was no one else there. No other cars, no park rangers, nothing. "Where's your friend, the one who works at the park?" Emma asked. "Oh, he already left. He cleared the trail for us yesterday. Trust me, it's standard protocol." It didn't seem like standard protocol. Emma took out her cell phone. No signal, as expected. "Connor, what if something happens? How do we call for help?" He showed her a device attached to his backpack. "I have an emergency GPS with satellite signal. Relax. Everything is under control." But Emma noticed that he didn't offer to give her the device. He kept it in his own backpack. Endless forest. The trail started out peaceful. Towering trees, the smell of pine, birds singing. Connor was excited, pointing out plants, telling her about the local wildlife. For a moment, Emma almost managed to relax, but after 2 hours of walking, something changed. Connor stopped talking. He became serious, focused. The pace increased. Emma began to have difficulty keeping up. "Connor, can you slow down? I'm not used to this." "We need to get to camp before dark," he replied without looking back. "Come on." It wasn't a request. It was an order. Another hour. Emma's legs were burning. She tripped over a root and fell to her knees. "Connor, wait!" He finally stopped and came back, but when he looked at her, there was no concern in his eyes. There was irritation. "Emma, we don't have time for this. Get up." "I'm tired. I need a break." "You'll get a break when we get there," he said, pulling her up by the arm with force. "Now get up and walk." His hand squeezed too hard. It was going to leave a mark. Emma felt real fear for the first time. This wasn't the sweet Connor from the video calls. This was someone else. Camp of Terror. When they finally arrived at the camp, Emma realized it wasn't an official site. It was just a clearing that Connor had chosen, completely isolated. She had no idea where they were or how far they had walked. "I'll set up the tent. You rest," Connor said, throwing her backpack on the ground. Emma sat down on a rock, taking off her sneakers. Her feet were raw. She instinctively reached for her phone. Still no signal, of course. "Stop looking at that shit," Connor said sharply. She looked at him, shocked. "Excuse me?" "Your phone. Put it away. It's useless here." "Connor, what's wrong with you? Why are you talking to me like that?" He stopped what he was doing and walked slowly toward her. There was something in his eyes, something cold, calculating. "You know what your problem is, Emma?" he said low. You don't know when you're in a situation you can't control. Her blood ran cold. You came to my country. You're in my house. No one knows exactly where you are. Claire, that annoying friend of yours, she has no idea where we are. Her cell phone is there. Look. He pointed to the device in Emma's hand. No signal, no working GPS, no one coming to save you. Emma began to tremble. Connor, you're scaring me. Good, he smiled, but it was a humorless smile. Maybe you need a little fear to understand how things are going to work from now on. The truth revealed. Emma tried to get up, but Connor pushed her back against the rock. Sit down. Let's have a little chat. Connor, please. What do you want? What do I want? He laughed bitterly. Emma, I spent months preparing for this. Months creating the perfect profile, saying the right things, making you fall in love. And you? You fell for it like all the others. All the others. That engineer story, lie, the house, it's not mine, it's rented. The dog, it doesn't even exist. Everything, absolutely everything you know about me is a lie. Emma felt nauseous. Who are you? Someone who's sick of women like you, who think they deserve Prince Charming, who come here thinking they're going to have a perfect life. Do you know how many like you I've brought to these mountains? The horror in her voice. How many? Connor bent down, coming face to face with her. You're the fifth, Emma, and do you know what happened to the other four? Silence. They never came back. Emma couldn't hold it in. She vomited right there. Connor stepped back in disgust. Clean that up later. Now you're going to do exactly what I tell you. First, you're going to give me the passwords to your cell phone, email, and bank account. Then, you're going to record some videos saying that you're happy, that you've decided to stay in Canada, that you want them to stop looking for you. No one will believe, Emma whispered. They will. The other families believed it. It's recorded. It's documented. You disappeared because you wanted to. Do you understand? Emma looked around desperately. Dense forest on all sides, no visible path. She barely remembered where they had come from. And Connor was right. No one knew exactly where she was. She was completely alone, in the hands of a predator. Emma forced herself to breathe. Panicking now meant death. She needed to think. She needed to buy time. Connor, she said, trying to keep her voice steady, if you're going to kill me anyway, why do you need the passwords? Why the videos? He seemed impressed by the question. Smart. Smarter than the third one, who cried for hours on end. He sat down on a nearby rock, relaxed as if they were having a casual conversation. I'll explain because I think you deserve to know. The passwords are to clean out your accounts later. Gradual transfers to various offshore accounts. Nothing suspicious, nothing that raises a red flag. And the videos? Well, those are my insurance policy. Insurance against what? Against investigation. Look, Emma, I'm not stupid. I'm not an impulsive killer. I'm organized, methodical. When someone disappears, what do the police look for first? Signs that the person wanted to disappear. And when there are videos of her saying she's happy, that she's found new love, that she wants to start a new life in Canada, well, case closed. Adults have the right to disappear if they want to. Emma felt bile rising in her throat. What about the 4 women? Didn't anyone look for them? They did, Connor shrugged. The family of the first one even hired a private investigator. You know what they found? Videos of her saying she was in love, that she was getting married, that she didn't want any contact with her family for a while. Hotel payments, store purchases, bank transactions, all traceable, all documented. But you did all that. It wasn't her. Of course I did. But how can they prove it? Find the body? He smiled coldly. They'll never find it, Emma. These mountains have thousands of places. Deep ravines, frozen rivers, wild animals. Nature does the work for me. The first night Connor forced Emma to record 3 videos before dark. In each one, with him holding a knife off camera, she smiled forcedly and said she was happy, that she had decided to stay in Canada, that Connor was wonderful. "More emotion," he ordered. "You're in love, remember? You're not being kidnapped. Sell it better." After the videos, he handcuffed her to a tree using real handcuffs. "Do you have training in this?" Emma asked, watching as he fastened the cuffs with professional precision. "I was a cop," Connor replied casually. 10 years on the Vancouver force, learned everything about criminal investigation, all the techniques, all the mistakes criminals make." He smiled, "and all the ways not to make those mistakes." Ex-cop. That explained everything. He knew exactly how to avoid getting caught. "Why do you do this?" Emma asked. She needed to keep him talking. The more he talked, the more time she had. Connor paused and looked at her for a long moment. "Do you really want to know?" "Yes." He sat down by the fire he had lit. "My ex-wife. She left me 5 years ago. Emptied the bank accounts, took the house in the divorce, got custody of my daughter. And you know why? Because the judge believed her. Because she cried and said she was afraid of me. Lies, all lies. But women always win, don't they? The system always favors you. So you kill innocent women for revenge." "It's not revenge," he said calmly. "It's justice. Every one of you who comes here thinking you'll get a better life, an easy marriage, Canadian citizenship, you're all the same, self-serving, manipulative. I'm just doing the world a favor." Emma realized she was dealing with someone completely disconnected from reality. He had created a narrative where he was the victim and she was the villain. The opportunity. During the night, Connor slept in the tent. He left Emma handcuffed to the tree with only a thin sleeping bag. The temperature dropped brutally. Emma was shaking uncontrollably. Around 3 a.m., she heard something. Footsteps, not Connor's. He was snoring inside the tent. These were different footsteps. Heavier. Then she saw it. A bear, big, black, looking for food. Emma froze. The bear approached the campsite, attracted by the food scraps. It sniffed near Connor's tent. That's when Emma had a terrible idea, risky, but perhaps her only chance. She screamed loud, "Bear! There's a bear here!" Connor woke up in a panic. He ran out of the tent without thinking, without checking first. The bear, startled by the sudden movement, attacked. Connor screamed, trying to defend himself. In the confusion, he dropped the key to the handcuffs that was in his jacket pocket. The key rolled. It stopped 1/2 meter from Emma. The bear and Connor were fighting. He had a knife. He was trying to defend himself, but the animal was much stronger. Emma stretched as far as she could, the handcuffs cutting into her wrists. Her fingers touched the key. Almost. Just a little more. Connor managed to stab the bear, which fled wounded into the forest. He fell to the ground, bleeding from his arm and face, breathing heavily. Emma finally got the key. She unlocked the handcuffs and ran. She ran into the darkness of the forest, with no idea where she was going, Connor shouting after her, "Emma, you won't survive out there. Come back here." But she didn't stop. It didn't matter what was in the forest. Nothing could be worse than Connor. Emma ran blindly through the forest. Branches scratched her face. Rocks cut her feet through her thin sneakers. She had no idea which direction she was going. She just knew she needed to get away from Connor. Behind her, his voice echoed, "Emma, you're going to die out there! There are bears, puma, you have no food, no water." She kept running until her legs simply gave out. She fell behind a fallen tree trunk, panting, trying not to make a sound. Silence. Just the wind in the trees and her own rapid breathing. Then she heard it. Footsteps. Connor was looking for her, methodical, using tracking techniques. "Emma, be reasonable." His voice was calmer now, almost gentle. "You're hurt. I'm hurt. We can make a deal. I'll take you back, you get your things, I'll put you on a plane. No harm done. Just leave and forget about all this." Lies. She knew it. He would never let her leave alive now. Emma looked around. She needed to think like him. Connor was a former police officer, trained. She was a teacher, but she had read enough books on survival. She remembered something. Predators follow tracks. She needed to create false tracks. She took off one of her sneakers and threw it as far to the left as she could. The sneaker hit some bushes, making a noise. Connor immediately changed direction. "I found you." While he went the wrong way, Emma moved silently in the opposite direction, barefoot, trying not to leave obvious tracks. Dawn of hope. The first light of day began to appear. Emma had moved all night, slowly, silently. Her feet were bleeding. She was cold, hungry, thirsty. But then she heard something different. It wasn't wind. It wasn't an animal. It was running water, a river. She crawled to the bank. The river was wide with a strong current. Emma remembered something Claire once said about trails in Canada. Rivers always lead somewhere. Following a river means eventually finding civilization. She drank cold water directly from the river, trying not to drink too much and get sick. She washed the blood from her feet. That's when she saw something on the other side of the river that made her heart race. A cabin, small, old, but clearly a human construction. There was a narrow bridge about 50 meters upstream. Emma looked back. Connor could appear at any moment. She had to cross, now. The trap Emma staggered across the bridge. Each step was agony on her injured feet. She reached the cabin and pushed the door, unlocked. Inside was a small table, an old stove, a few cans of food. A forest ranger or fisherman's cabin, and most importantly, on the wall, an emergency radio. Emma ran to it and turned it on. Static. She adjusted the frequency as she had seen in movies. "Hello? Can anyone hear me? I need help. I'm being chased, please." The cabin door flew open. Connor. He was covered in blood, the bear's wounds still bleeding. But in his eyes was something worse than anger. There was amusement. "I thought it would take longer," he said, breathing heavily. "But you followed the river. Exactly what I would have done. Exactly what I expected you to do." Emma looked around desperately. There was no other way out. "It's over, Emma. It's over." Connor took a step forward, and then from the radio, a voice boomed. "This is Forest Ranger Morrison responding to an emergency call. Identify your location and the nature of the emergency. I repeat, identify your location." Connor's eyes widened. Emma shouted into the radio, "Cabin on the river! Man trying to kill me! Connor McLeod, former Vancouver police officer!" Connor lunged forward, but Emma grabbed the only weapon she saw, a heavy iron pot, and hit him over the head with all her might. Connor staggered, fell to his knees, and Emma ran again, this time with the park ranger's voice on the radio saying, "Location identified. Team on the way. Hold on, help is coming." She just needed to survive a little longer. Just a little longer. Emma ran down the river until she heard the helicopter. She waved desperately, crying. 2 park rangers and police officers jumped out. "Emma Morrison!" She collapsed. "He tried to kill me. There are other women." "Calm down. You're safe. Where's the attacker?" "Connor McLeod, former police officer, cabin." The police officers exchanged glances and spoke into the radio, confirming his identity. Connor was found 3 hours later, unconscious and bleeding. He was taken into custody and to the hospital. The truth. The investigation revealed horrors. The rented house belonged to Sarah Chen, who had been missing for 3 years. Connor forged documents after killing her. In the basement, belongings of 5 women. Passports, jewelry, photos. One was Emma's. Searches in the mountains found the remains of 3 victims. 2 were never located. Connor McLeod was fake. Real name, Marcus Brennan, a former police officer forced into retirement after unproven accusations. Trial. Marcus pleaded insanity. Lawyers argued war trauma and post-traumatic stress. Emma testified, reliving each horror. The victims' families were present. Sarah's mother thanked her through tears. "You brought my daughter back." Sentence. life imprisonment without parole. But two families still have no answers. Two women lost in the mountains forever. A new beginning. Emma returned to Brazil 3 weeks later. Claire hugged her for a long time. "You were right about everything," Emma whispered. She began therapy, nightmares, panic, distrust. But little by little, she rebuilt her life. 6 months later, she gave an interview for a documentary about dangerous relationships. "I want other women to know the signs. Progressive isolation, control disguised as care, pressure to make quick decisions. Trust your instincts. That little voice that tells you something is wrong, it's right."